Well, good morning. It is Tuesday, November 3rd, and time for a morning devotion. And today's is going to come from Psalm 55. It's entitled, Complaint About a Friend's Treachery. And so the psalmist writes, Give ear to my prayer, O God. Do not hide yourself from my supplication. Attend to me and answer me. I am troubled in my complaint. I am distraught by the noise of my enemy because of the clamor of the wicked. For they bring trouble upon me, and in anger they cherish enmity against me. My heart is in anguish within me. The terrors of death have fallen upon me. Fear and trembling come upon me, and horror overwhelms me. And I say, oh, that I have wings like a dove, that I could fly away and be at rest. Truly, I would flee far away. I would lodge in the wilderness. I would hurry to find shelter for myself from the raging winds of tempest. Confuse, O Lord, compound their speech, for I see violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go around it on their walls, and iniquity and trouble are within it. Ruin is in its midst. Oppression and fraud do not depart from its marketplace. It is not enemies who taunt me. I can bear that. It is not adversaries who deal insolently with me. I can hide from them. But it is you, my equal, my companion, my familiar friend with whom I keep pleasant company. We walk in the house of God with a throng. Let death come upon me. Let them go down alive to Sheol, for evil is in their homes and in their hearts. But I call upon God, and the Lord will save me. Evening and morning at noon, I utter my complaint and moan, and he will hear my voice. He will redeem my unharmed, or he will redeem me unharmed from the battle that I wage. For many are arrayed against me. God, who is enthroned from the old, will hear and will humble them, because they do not charge and do not fear God. My companion lays hands on a friend, and violated a covenant with me, with speech smoother than butter, but with a heart set on war, with words that were softer than oil, but in fact were drawn swords. Cast your burdens on me, or cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. But you, O God, will cast them down into the lowest pit. The bloodthirsty and treacherous shall not live out half their days, but I will trust you. And so ends our reading this morning. And so what we have here is a pretty typical psalm. It's the person who is writing this has enemies who are making complaints against him, causing him trouble, making noise and clamoring and all these things. But it's not somebody that he is unfamiliar with. It's not his enemies who taunt me, because he can bear that. It's not his adversaries who deal insolently with him. He can hide from that. But it's his companion, somebody who's equal to him, a familiar friend, he says in verse 13, who he keeps pleasant company with. And they even walk into the house together in the throngs. And so he's having trouble with somebody who's close to him. This person is causing him this ill will. And his resolution to this is turn to God. Cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you, he says. He will never permit the righteous to be moved, in verse 22. He trusts in God, that God will find a resolution in this terrible place this person is in. It doesn't specifically say, other than he violated a covenant with him, doesn't specifically say what this violation is, but he was a smooth talker. And he fell into his trap, and he's seeking the Lord's guidance on the way to get out. And so he's laying his burdens before God, which is kind of the lesson in all of this. We should all do. We all have friends. We all have people in our lives. We all know people that maybe we're not familiar with that cause us anxiety and strife. And what do we do about that? Do we lash out in anger? Do we go after them and try to get vengeance and get equal with them? Hopefully not. We are called to be peacemakers. We are called to turn to God and to seek God's guidance in all of this. And I know that may seem trite, and nowadays that certainly isn't the way that the world works. But we as followers of Jesus Christ are to turn to God and lay our burdens on the Lord and ask God's help to resolve the situations. Go in peace, my friends. Amen.